You don't need a bag full of lenses or even to be up at 3 AM to capture stunning travel photos. In this video, I'm going to show you how I use just one lens to capture 99% of my travel shots. The setup, the settings, and the tricks I use in every single photo that has resulted in me working for 3 of the largest UK holiday letting companies and many local hotels. You'll learn how to see things differently, think like a professional photographer, and unlock creative potential in any travel situation, no matter what gear you've got with you or what time of day it is. Most of us are faced with a situation we can't get up at silly o'clock. We don't want to disrupt our family holiday, so we just have to take photos at a convenient time of day. So let's see how it works in practice. I've come to Blackpool. It's a popular tourist destination in the northwest of England. It's famous for its tower. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. The sun is pretty high because it's early in June, so the lighting is nothing special. And that's the first thing I would say to you. What you've got to do now is embrace the lighting conditions and actually the weather conditions you're faced with. It's actually a very windy day today, but the tide's out, so I can't even get any pictures of waves spraying up onto the promenade. So the first thing you need to do is work out what direction the light is coming from, and then use that to your advantage in your photos. So it's a mixture of sunshine and clouds today, so there is some harsh light, there's some shadows. Now when you come on your holidays, it's really about creating memories. So what are the things that you remember about your day to Blackpool? And we're going to bear that in mind as we take our photos. For camera settings, I'm predominantly going to be shooting in aperture priority, but I'm going to keep a close eye on my shutter speed. I can't really come to Blackpool without trying to take a picture of the tower, but it's a bit like the Eiffel Tower. It's one of those things that's photographed by everybody, so I've been trying to look for a way photographing it differently. Now the light is now behind it, and I've done that deliberately because I want to shoot into the lights. Also found this lovely old fairground, and I'm hoping I can use that in the foreground, try and create a different view, perhaps something that not everybody would take. Again, I'm going to shoot in aperture priority, which is a medium aperture like f8, and see how that works out. And here you go. So if you don't know which direction to put the light in, I would urge you to download a copy of my new ebook, How to Use Light Like a Pro Photographer. There's a link in the description. It'll take you through how to set the light direction. It'll also take you through a couple of other difficult lighting scenarios like harsh lighting and low lighting. Now, let's get back to finding some interesting images. What really attracted me was all the lines and symmetry here. That always makes for interesting images, and lucky enough to get a guy riding his bike right through. So set a fast shutter speed, so I wanted him to be frozen in the action. I wanted to capture him near the shadow, but also out of the shadow. I'm not sure which will look best. I'll put them both up here for you to look at. Nobody wants to lug a heavy bag and a tripod, especially if you've got the family with you or something, and you're out trying to take some nice photos. Today, I've got my Sony A7R5 and the Sony 24-70 f2.8 lens on, and that's really versatile. Having a zoom makes your life a little bit easier. You could easily do this with a prime lens, and I would recommend obviously something like a 50mm. Go for the slightly longer focal length. The other advantages of zooms is you can make your compositions more minimal, and that's one of the things you need to be thinking about in these sort of lighting conditions. You can also change your perspective, because what you're trying to do is declutter your scene. So by getting in low, or alternatively getting very high and looking down, change your perspective and you'll make your shot more interesting. Tourist destinations can be pretty cluttered, and you need to be able to cut through that and minimize your shots. A couple of things you can do. I haven't even brought an ND filter with me, so I can't slow my shutter speed down as much as I would like on quite a bright day. But what I can do is I can pan. Now, Blackpool is famous for its trams, so I'm going to try and capture a tram, and I'll pan to take my shot. That'll cut out a lot of the clutter. Hopefully tram will be the obvious subject and the background will be blurred,
and that'll blur out all the unnecessary things like litter bins and any people walking by. So for a shot like this, you need a slow shutter speed, I would say around 15ths. So I'm going to make my aperture as narrow as possible. f22. Can actually take my ISO down to a 50th. So that will help. One of the things I find that works really well is to put something right close in your foreground that'll be out of focus. Frames your shot and it makes it more interesting. Now if you do want to go much wider, a couple of tips for you. You could shoot a panorama. Just shoot 3 shots and stitch them together. If you want to go in closer, well, with my camera it's a 16 megapixel sensor, so it's not really an issue to crop in for most of the photos that I'd want from a travel shoot. My final tip to make your travel photos pop is to tell a story with them. Travel photos often feel generic because we tend to take pictures of famous landmarks in the same photo that everybody else did. So try and look for moments, things going on, people doing stuff. Maybe find yourself an interesting location where the background has a good composition and wait for people to walk through your scene or for a moment to happen in that scene. That'll really make your photos a lot more interesting to look at.
And here are all the photos I took while wandering around Blackpool. Let me summarise the key points for you. You don't need perfect light. You just need to learn to embrace the light that's there and make the most of it. A single lens such as a 24-70 is an incredibly versatile tool if you know how to use it. It'll boost your creativity because you're confined to using just one bit of kit, so you can concentrate all your efforts on being creative and getting those stunning shots. Simplify your compositions. Clarity is much more powerful than clutter. Think minimal. And finally, think about the story, not just the scenery. Details that'll connect with people and make your photos come to life. And just a final reminder, if you want to level up your ability to read light, don't forget to download a copy of my ebook, How to See Light Like a Professional Photographer. In the meantime, go and have some fun with your camera, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.